Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide and into another edition of Q&A. So, let's start. I reluctantly but totally agree. This device is awesome for work. It's crisp, large and fast. You can adjust it to your liking. It allows you to use apps from Google Play and battery life is decent. If you have ADHD and want to get stuff done without distractions, then Remarkable probably is a better option. Otherwise, the best monochrome e-ink device in my honest opinion is this at the moment. I wholeheartedly agree with everything except that it only is remarkable for people with ADHD issues or tendencies. I would put Supernote there as well as a perfectly viable and an important alternative because I find Supernote Manta to be on par as far as ease of use, but the functionality and just like everything else that it has to offer is way more dominant than the Remarkable has to offer. But I totally wholeheartedly agree, and I think that NoteMax is not only the best monochrome e-ink device currently available. I find it hard to find another best value or best overall e-paper monochrome non-front lit device that has ever been released. That's just simply how good this thing is if you take into consideration the shortcomings, which every device of course naturally has. So some of those shortcomings might be a deal breaker for you, but overall, just as a general e-paper device and what an e-paper device is supposed to be, really impressive. One quick note that I think fixes one of the smaller issues that you brought up on the Remarkable Paper Pro is that the double click on the power button really does feel like a natural refresh for me. At first I thought it was a little odd, but I use that quite a bit and it seems to do very clean refresh really quickly without feeling like it's powering down the unit. Okay, interesting. I will try it out now to see. I'm just gonna introduce some ghosting and there we go. Now I have a ghosting part here. You can see with the power or the front light here right there, and I disagree that this is a small issue. I think that a lack of a dedicated full screen refresh command that is easy to access and use at any given point in time anywhere in the system that you may be is actually a very large issue if the device suffers from ghosting. And Remarkable Paper Pro abso-freaking-lutely suffers from ghosting because I can see the menu of the front light intensity very clearly overpowering the menu that I'm actually currently on. So yeah, that's not a small issue for me at least. But let's see, how does it work? I've generally never tried. So you said double press on the power button quickly. Yes, it deghosts quite nicely, that's true, but let's see if I can reproduce the ghosting thing. Yeah, there it is, it's still there. Then I can just double click. Okay, so it works, but when you misclick, then you can get something, then you can start toggling between the powered off state or the snooze state. Okay, thanks for the tip. I think it's better than nothing, but I don't really find it as a viable alternative. At the best, this is simply a workaround that users should not be forced to do on a tablet like that, and that costs as much as it does. Great video, thank you. I agree with a lot of what you said outside of saying that you can't get certain things done with the 10.3. I believe around the 1244 mark. I agree with the NoteMax. You have a larger canvas to work with, but a lot of the functions that make the NoteMax so great are also what makes the 10.3 great as well, in my honest opinion. And absolutely, because as you've seen, I had the NoteMax and the Go 10.3 next to each other, and yes, all of the functionalities, most of them actually, because they do have different variants of the OS system. So NoteMax is using the tab-like OS system, the Go 10.3 doesn't, so you can't really have the benefit of widgets organization on the 10.3 while you can on the NoteMax. But that's the only meaningful difference, really. Other than that, yeah, functionality wise, they are all exactly the same because this is running for OS 4 version as well. However, the main thing that is the advantage of the NoteMax is 300 ppi at 13.3 inch. The ability to utilize the functionalities that OS 4 does offer on both of these devices is simply better on the NoteMax, particularly split screen, visibility, multitasking, and all of that kind of stuff. How long does it, NoteMax, last on a charge with such heavy use? It depends on the keyboard itself and the keyboard connectivity. The most efficient one was the Bluetooth connectivity method. The wired and the dongle 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongles did spend more, simply because as soon as you plug in a USB of any sort into a Boox tablet, it is constantly active, and then it seeps, drains a little bit of power constantly, while the Bluetooth method is far more optimized. So when you plug in a USB device into this tablet, it will be constantly active, and the power management of the said USB accessory, in this case a 2.4 gigahertz dongle or a cable that's powering the keyboard, yeah, the system is simply treating it as always active, and as such it will drain power not considerably but continuously over a period of time. And Bluetooth is an automatic updated kind of thing that is far more optimized. So my experience is, if you use a Bluetooth keyboard, you will get more power and more time on a single charge. And with such super heavy use, I was getting, well, it depends how much I was typing in that case and how much I was scrolling and stuff, but something around 6 hours is normally, 6 to 8 hours of such heavy use was the normal kind of thing. And this was in balanced mode mostly, so that means like BSR, Wi-Fi, streaming, Bluetooth, all of the stuff, mouse as well, so 2 Bluetooth devices, like really hyper huge type of consumption, and still it was able to get almost through the entire workday. But I can get easily way more than 8 hours of active use if I'm not streaming, for example, if I'm not listening to Spotify actively and casting the signal to, I don't know, an external speaker. And if I'm not using a mouse, then I notice that 8 hours is not a problem. And especially if I'm actually reading a lot and I'm not in the balanced BSR refresh mode, but I'm actually in standard mode, then you can see significant bump in battery life as well. I like this kind of content because not only is it technically accurate and methodical, but offers a glimpse on your workflow, which can be used as an example and adapted or fine-tuned to meet others' needs. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I mean, that really means a lot because it is the type of content that I enjoy sharing and making a lot more than the other stuff as well. So it's really cool to hear that it resonates with people in a good way. And good news, because I plan to share these things a little bit more and show a little bit more of that kind of stuff, and share with you the logic and the methodologies behind the workflows that I use in different situations, precisely for that type of purpose, so that hopefully people can adapt them and modify them to their own use case scenarios. Hey boy, what's going on with the charging setup in the time-lapse portion? It looks like a USB-C to USB-C, then a USB-A to a USB-C cable. This is in regards to my Boox NoteMax Y and how it became quickly the best e-paper device that I've ever owned, which you can see there if you're interested. There I have like a quick time-lapse, 3 different time-lapses, and the thing is that during that portion of work, while I was working, I was also testing the battery consumption of the device when it's under heavy use, real world use, and different types of keyboards. So I was testing first my Logitech K8600, which is a Bluetooth paired keyboard, and how much it spent in an hour. Then I checked out the NOC Free in wired and wireless mode. So those are the differences that you're actually seeing in those 3 different time lapses. So I was basically performing battery testing while working in of a real-world scenario. Great video! You mentioned shortcomings in the document annotations of Supernote. Could you elaborate? Because I find it awesome. Yes, I can elaborate a little bit more. So actually let me switch to the other camera so I can show as well. It comes down to one very simple thing as far as the document annotations go. I'm not talking about just the simple writing in the document. That I find completely great on both platforms, absolutely, and I think it's awesome on the Supernote as well. The thing that lacks, and basically lacks on most of the other devices, is the annotation of when you select this and then you can add something. Granted, yeah, you definitely can do the same thing on the Supernote as well. The problem that I have is that all of the markings, highlights, notes associated with highlights and annotations on the Supernote, they remain logged down to the device and the platform itself. And that is simply not the case here. Because, for example, if I'm done with the research of or processing a document like this, I have the option to go to the contents and I go to my, I don't know, they call it, annotations. Let's call them annotations. In this case, I didn't write anything, but if I had written content as well, I would have it all listed here. But the dominant thing here for me is basically I can just then hit select all, and it hits select all of the ones that I've done throughout the processing of the document, and I can just go export. And I can export share directly to what I want, or I can export to local storage, but it doesn't matter what you do. The end result is that you actually get a text file that kind of boils down everything that you've done, including where, what, everything that I marked as important in the processing of the document. So I can really easily and without breaking the workflow, for me at least, I can easily just go here, share this and export to my Google Drive, and then continue on to the next document and continue processing multiple documents really quickly. And then when I'm done with this, I know that all of those summaries, everything is exported on my Google Drive, and I can just get on there and find them. Granted, you can also export with the notes in the PDF, and then you can export that PDF. You can do that on the Supernote as well. This is simply, for me, one extra step that I find really beneficial, because then I don't have to open a document, I don't have to thumb around it. I just have like a really nice, quick, easy summary that's incredibly easy to get out of the Boox platform and integrate into my general workflow. I spent an entire day researching which e-ink device would be the best fit for me, and your videos convinced me to choose that Supernote, the Supernote Manta, which is an excellent choice, I might add, because it's an excellent device. However, after watching this video, I have some doubts and I'm seeking your opinions. I'm primarily looking for a device for journaling and reviewing literature on research papers. The ability to view 2 pages with the Boox NoteMax is appealing. Yes, it is, and the extra screen real estate is extremely useful as well, because it's genuinely useful and makes it easier to read. But I plan to use my laptop to extract notes and sections, and I want to paraphrase from the device and then write my manuscripts on my laptop. Also, I appreciate that Rata offers devices that emphasize the DIY freedom, durability, and eco-friendliness. Could you please share your thoughts on how the Boox NoteMax compares in terms of compatibility regarding these aspects? Thank you so much. It compares pretty much 1-to-1. I mean, at this point, almost everything that you can do on one device you can do on the other, with the exception of the split screen functionality that you have on the Boox platform and you don't have on the Supernote platform. So that's the only real difference. Everything else functionality wise is there. So what you can do on one device you can do on the other device, but there are small differences and there are small nooks and crannies in certain aspects. Like, generally speaking, the ease of use and the accessibility will be dominant and will be better on a Supernote platform. Especially on Manta, with the 2 little side swipes and the ease of having quick access and all that kind of stuff. It's like really awesome platform for journaling, using, and the type of stuff that you've talked about. If what you want to do is more of the type of work that I showed, which is like heavy duty processing and moving away from the laptop, then NoteMax will make more sense, because Supernote is not a platform that's designed to do any of those things, nor should you try to force it to do these things, because it's not about that. It's more about handwriting. Hence their logo, which is one of the most honest logos. It's for the ones who write. So if you're the person who writes and you want a device that fits your pipeline and needs to satisfy the needs of writing, journaling and some document processing, Supernote Manta is definitely going to do the work really, really well there. However, if you wanted to go towards replacing some or most of your laptop tasks with an eNote device, then Supernote is not a device for that. It's not trying to do that. It's not supposed to do that. Boox NoteMax actually gets you closer to that point. Voya, what are the white stands that you're using? They go great with the tablets. I agree. You mean these little guys? Well, I have no idea. Let me see. That's Anderson. That's an Anderson stand. I have no idea what the name is or what the model is. I just found them locally here, and yeah, they're great. It's plastic, but it works really well. What I really love about it is that unlike other stands, you do have the ability to easily tighten them up, and they're really well designed. So you have the rubber gaskets here and inside, and then you can adjust the tightness really, really well, so it can super comfortably support large devices, heavy devices at extreme angles, and I can just like easily use them with a lot of confidence. So I like these guys, but I have no idea. Like, I just bought them here locally. I don't know if they're available internationally or anything like that. They're called Andersons. That's all I know. Definitely consider a course for us. The Boox OS is a minefield, and your settings and modifications combined with your planner software would be a no-brainer. I would buy that with the device. Excellent, and thank you so much for sharing that opinion. And why I say excellent? Well, because that is most definitely something that I am planning on and working towards. It just involves a lot of work, but it is something to look forward to in relatively near future. I hope, if I manage to get my time kind of managed in a good way. All right, that's it from me for this edition of Q&A. I hope that you found it informative and or useful. Do all the social media thingies of liking, subscribing and things like that to help the MyDeepGuide. And also, if you like the work that I do, you can support the work by doing the super chats or by going to mydeepguide.com/shop and purchasing one of the many awesome products that are available there. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!